Yo, so I'm getting tagged left and right in these about this Huberman scandal. Everyone wants me to fucking weigh in on it. I mean, I don't first of all, I don't understand how anybody is baffled by this at all. If you have like any if you've lived at all in the real world, I mean, like where's the shock here? Where's the shock? Especially if you're familiar with my work. Because I've been telling you guys this for years. I've been telling you that men have an explicit kind of depraved nature. And the ones who have the courage to use it, to utilize it, to lean into it, build these little wind up toy apparatuses in order to essentially delve into it as deeply as they can. So, how are you shocked that the whole Huberman multiplex, the whole brand, is essentially a storefront so this guy can descend into his chaotic nature? Of course it is. It's the counterbalancing of weights. This is what men do. I told you, this is why Michael Jordan played ball. This is why Michael Jordan built the greatest shoe complex of all time so that he could lean into his depraved nature and fucking gamble endlessly. This is why do you think rappers rap? Why do you think rappers make smash hits? So they can be around drugs and women all day. You know what I'm saying? Everything that a man builds construction wise is always a mechanism so that they can live the way they fucking want to live. I know some simple motherfuckers who want to make millions of dollars so they can go sit on an island and smoke weed all day and not be bothered by anybody. And I tip the hat to that. I 100% tip the hat to that. Because, like I've always said, once you win the game, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So I don't have any fucking I have zero moral judgment against Huberman and what he's up to. Sounds like he was spinning a bunch of plates. Sounds like he was involved in some dalliances with a bunch of different women. Got himself embroiled in some different trysts with different women, and apparently he was manipulating. I mean, who gives a fuck? Truly, who gives a fuck? I mean, how are we surprised? But look, the reality of it is Huberman is more friend than foe to me. Huberman is actually more in alignment with my speed and my style than just about anybody else in the space, most likely. Because again, he built himself an aquarium. His entire brand is just an aquarium so that he can fucking basically put whatever kind of fucking experiments he wants in his own living room. And he deserves some fucking accolades for that. Anyone who's taking shots at Huberman over this is terrified of their own nature and is running as far away from possible from their edge as they possibly can. This guy's edge running, living at his fucking edge. Got to tip the cap to motherfuckers who have the balls and the courage to do that. Always, always. Because, like I said, if you want to be great, there's literally zero other impetus. You will never ever be able to debate me on this. You cannot show me any impetus or any reason why a man has the desire to catapult to the top of anything unless it's to truly just be able to lean into his depraved nature. There's zero other fucking reason. And you want to sit here and say women are the fucking irrational sex? Fuck no. Men are the irrational sex. Men do outrageous things to live the way they want to live. Things that make zero fucking sense logically, teleologically, theologically. None of it fucking adds up. So Huberman's a G. By the way, little sidebar. I read the Someone I think linked like a Vanity Mag article about the whole thing this morning. Very ironic. I know the woman that they put in there, Sarah. They gave her a pen name to protect her anonymity. I actually know her. I know exactly who they're talking about. I'm not going to give you details on how I know her, but me and Huberman might be a little more related than you think. Anyway, let's pivot into the fucking boomer thing. Let's pivot into the boomer thing. So the boomers, they have created the modern economy. You can thank the boomers for the existence of crypto. You can thank the boomers for the explosion of gambling, degeneracy, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. You can thank the boomers because it all goes back to what I said. Boomers, what they did is they tried to put vice grips on their kids. And they, first of all, I've always told you this, boomers were the most psyoped generation in history. They were wrong about everything. They had their instincts hijacked by the media. They really did. They had their fucking instincts hijacked. It was the first generation that you saw where women, this is when you knew it was going all downhill. Here's the fucking landmark in history. When women got bamboozled by the media into not breastfeeding and falling for the marketing campaign of Gerber's plastering a fucking little baby on a fucking jar of Zog slop. And women legitimately actually believed that they were feeding their kids a Hallmark premier quintessential diet. And they stopped breastfeeding. That's genuinely when you knew it was a wrap. That's when you knew how powerful the media really was, because the media genuinely convinced millions and millions of women that Gerber's baby food had more power in it than their own fucking breast milk. Insane. And I've it's insane how it all ties into everything I've always said. I told you guys that men have been in a silent proxy war with these media conglomerates for basically agency and control of their household. And when women don't have strong leadership in the household, they're going to get their sculpting and molding from these fucking megalithic corporations. And that's exactly what happened to the now boomers. Is the women got discouraged from their own maternal instincts and they were hijacked. And so everything that you see in history right now, in modern history, seems to be flying in disarray from that one kind of seminal germinal moment in history. When women started giving up agency of their own bodies and shit and outsourcing it to these fucking billion-dollar companies, game over, my friend. So here's the deal. Boomers, and one of the most interesting things that I've gleaned from the whole boomer thing in general is, and I said this on a prior spaces, I forget where. It's dislodged somewhere in the archives, but I made note that boomers were the first generation that kind of resented their kids in a way. They kind of felt like their kids were kind of holding them back from the freedom that they enjoyed. Even though they pumped out a bunch of them, it's kind of like boomers, first generation ever, that kind of wanted their kids to grow up to be complete fucking losers. And the reason you know this is because they literally gave the worst advice in parental generational history. Horrible, awful advice that has zero fucking application in the real world whatsoever. Zero. You know, telling you that fucking working at a fucking car wash for the summer is gonna build you this fucking majestic character. You know, they tried to scoot you into these fucking gigs and told you that fucking hard manual labor is gonna fucking make you a man. Shit like that. Shit that is so fucking absurd with where the modern world was even headed. And a lot of kids definitely fell for this shit. They fell for this shit. And what it is they thought that by forcing you to do these fucking little odd jobs and shit, they thought they were going to keep you out of trouble. It's basically fundamentally what it is. The boomers were a terrified generation, and they were terrified of their kids taking risks. They wanted safety nets for you, shit like this. They didn't understand that when they fucking made you work that job at the car wash for the summer, like what the fuck did they think was happening on lunch breaks? Like your manager was snorting fucking angel dust. Like they weren't shielding you from jack shit at any of these fucking jobs. Drugs, paraphernalia was still being passed around. The whole notion is absurd. So here's the thing, and this is what ties back into my philosophy. Boomers tried so hard to bevel the edge of their children and force them into being basically generic, homogenized little cogs in the machine that basically what you see is you're seeing the modern landscape, and crypto I see as sort of an artistic critique of the damage that the boomers did. It's an act, crypto is an act of defiance and rebellion. There's just no other way around it. It's a mockery is what it is. It's a form of mocking the modern system and just how gay everything is. And so you've now got kids that are literally in their pajamas printing money from their living rooms wherever the fuck they want. And this is a nightmare scenario for the boomers, by the way. Nightmare scenario. Because I've always said this, dreams don't ever come true. Dreams do not come true. Nightmares do though. Nightmares do come true. And that's why you got to be very cautious as a man as to what your nightmares are, because you will summon them. So we are now living in the dystopia, the very future that the boomers were trying to shield and protect us all from. We're now there. It's now spawned. It has now happened. It has accelerated at an asymptotic rate. And this is the true boomer nightmare right now. Manifested before their very eyes. What did I tell you guys? I told you the more you try to prevent something from happening, the greater chance it's going to happen. And so the boomers manifested this because they tried to extinguish the sparks of genius and creativity in so many of their kids that all of their kids are basically the ones who said, fuck this. We're done working these bullshit jobs. We can't fucking pay our bills. We can't live the life we want. We're going to go fucking innovate. And so it was like a Frankensteinian experiment that went totally wrong. The more control, the more restrictions that boomers tried to put on their kids, the more there was pushback under the surface. And so basically, boomers are the founders of all these fucking companies obliquely. It's fucking fascinating. All these innovators who are fucking creating all this fucking tech and exploding all these fucking industries where you can just make capital from your bedroom. It is all a cultural, artistic critique against the boomer way of life. And now boomers are totally fucked because they've been ensnared. They're trapped in their fucking Roth IRAs, and they're watching dudes, you know, go up 1,000% in a day. And that's what's happening right now. So there's been a schism. There's a massive fucking schism. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful because it's like I've always said, Arkham Asylum in America was always inevitable. We're getting close here to Gotham City. We are. You know, it's like you got traveling caravans and circuses going on fucking everywhere. It's all a circus. And it makes total sense when you think back on it and you look at it because you're like, what is crypto right now? What is the narrative? It's obvious. It's the financialization of fun. That's all it is. Meme coins, it's the financialization of fun because everyone's sick and tired of fucking slaving away doing shit that they can't fucking stand. And so I venture to say crypto is the greatest artistic movement probably ever created. And it couldn't have happened without the boomers. It couldn't have happened with all that existential pressure at home to be somebody that you're not, forcing college down your neck, telling you to be an alumni, fucking wanting you to graduate cum laude when you had no interest in it. It just pushed everybody in this experimental contemporary direction that is tameless. It's tameless. You can no longer contain it. It's untamable. It's got a breath of its own. It's even got a fucking spinal cord of its own. It's like I told you guys before, this market is its own dynasty now. There's really nothing that can interfere with it or interdict. It's a wrap. It's going to continue to accelerate at this insane pace, which is really good for culture, by the way, because it's going to melt down these old paradigms and it's going to spawn a faster correction. That's what's coming around the corner here. Is all of these things are going to correct very fucking quickly, and order. And it's just funny because it goes back to like my central tenet, the depraved nature of man. And by depraved, let me be clear, I mean the carnal passions in a man's heart, the things that a man naturally desires to do that he's scared to do on a daily basis. Those are the things that really do push society forward. You know, guys like Huberman are not a role model. They're not at all. They're not supposed to be looked up to. People like me are not supposed to be looked up to at all. It's because what I'm doing is I'm also honoring the carnal stir, the carnal stew in my own heart. And so whatever apparatuses I build are for the same reasons any other motherfucker builds something majestic. It's just how it fucking works. But if your grip is too tightly on the wheel of safety and sanity because you're afraid of your edge or your nature, or afraid of living how you truly want to live, then you're going to scoff at things like this. You're going to look at scandalous stories that break out and you're going to scoff because it's just a reflection of how you're living. You know, it's just everything that you see that makes you fucking bewildered or have a negative reaction. It's just always a reminder of what you're doing. It shines a spotlight on it. It's never has to do with what other people are doing. No one gives a fuck about what anybody else is fucking doing. So it's always about you. And so your reactions to these stories and shit, very good barometer of how you're living. Very good barometer. Let me pull up some questions. I want to solve some problems today. If you're gonna step up here, either contribute something to the conversation or give me a good fucking issue that you're dealing with that I can troubleshoot live on air. Yo, what's up? Yeah.
Hey, bro. Question.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to living from your heart versus planning, living from your heart does
Versus
feel
what?
living from your heart, living
Versus
how
what? Versus what you say?
versus pre-planned Huberman style of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first one always feels more natural and you feel alive. But at the same time, what I see around me in all different fields, athleticism, sports, business, the people who are good planners and who live through numbers and statistics, they are winning when it comes to competition amongst men.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you reconcile that, or how do you do it together? How do
Yeah,
you
but what's your point? Like how are they winning? Materially?
materially competition? If we look, remember that guy you posted about, Mikey Musumeci, the jiu-jitsu dude?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, you can obviously see that the guy is on the spectrum, but people like him, when you look at what they achieve and how far they go in a sense of competition with others, they go beyond dudes who just, doing it for the sake of it, for the fun of it. All these professional athletes
Of course.
often,
But the thing is you can't really outrun your nerddom. You know, like you can't outrun the nerd in you. Everyone's tried to successfully do it, and nobody's ever pulled it off. Let me tell you something. Brian Johnson is another great example of this. He's more similar to that jujitsu guy Mike than you think. And I said this before. I said that Brian Johnson's transhumanist experiment, yeah, you could look at that as a form of art, but it's coming from an inferiority complex. It's coming from an immortality ain't physical. And it's the same thing with this little guy, Mikey. Mikey can be a fucking world champion every fucking year for the next decade. Do you think, and this is a fucking rhetorical question, and because this is, look, this is the fundamental of what every man wants. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Everything that we do as men boils down to this one fucking thing. And anyone who denies this is lying. Men want to be loved by women. Loved. Loved. Not just fucking, because we've seen every pickup artist who fucked tons of women always pivot because of the shame and disgust of not being truly loved by a woman. Infatuation. Men want a woman who's infatuated with them. That's what a man wants. And you look at some of these figures who basically brave and wade through all the bullshit in life and they get to the top and they still don't get the infatuation. They don't get it. Does Mikey look like a motherfucker to you who has women hurling themselves at him like they're at a fucking Beatles concert? The answer is fuck no. The answer is fuck no. And so when you want to talk about winning, there's one metric. It's how do women love you? That's it. Do women stalk you? That's it. That's the only fucking metric. Because I've always said this, and this is what men really don't fucking understand. And it blows my mind that they don't get this. This is why you always have to test yourself and always have to date beautiful women in the market, because it doesn't matter what you're building. It doesn't matter if you're in monk mode. Women are the true test of everything that you're doing. Women are the feedback loop. Whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it don't matter. That's just it's always been this way.
But then there's a contradiction, right? Where if
It's
you
always the
focus,
contradiction. That's how you know you're cracking truth, my brother. I contradict myself. I contradict myself every motherfucking day. And that's how I know that I'm actually cracking to the kernel of these topics. Because look, I could play devil's advocate with almost everything I've ever said. I can. I have that ability. Everything I've ever tweeted, everything I've ever stated, I could play the other side if I wanted to. Because I do understand that there is an opposite polar kind of countervailing point to everything that I say. And I could play that easily in my own head. But that's how I know that I'm actually bullseye dead on accurate with what I say. Because I understand that the opposite of what I say is also fucking true. Look, let me give you another one. Health. People that are leaning heavily into health and like get obsessed with health protocols and shit, they are also afraid of their edge. Because you got to be careful what you wish for as a man. If you are injured, even at a psychic level, it doesn't have to be a physical injury. You could have psychic wounds in your head, and you go to great lengths to heal all those things. You might not like the person that you become. You got to be very careful what you wish for as a man. You can use wellness. You can use the concept of wellness to become a lesser version of yourself. And that's the interesting thing is like you really as a man don't want to shake and tinker with the system. Because look, I operate from the premise always that as a man, you really don't fuck. You do not want to fuck or tinker or try to fix the pathologies that your mind gives you. Because these things are assistance mechanisms. These things, these quirks that you have, these illnesses that you have, they are there to assist you in helping move your life forward. And there's some terror about this in people. People think that they have to fucking get rid of their ADHD. They think that they have to tame all these things. And what do you see happen? I've seen men get really healthy, by the way, and their productivity plummets like 99%. Suddenly they don't even know who the fuck they are anymore. I've seen guys literally fucking totally flip the dial and become fucking fitness enthusiasts, fitness fanatics, get objectively healthy as fuck, run their bloods, their test is fucking burgeoning, their fucking DHT is through the fucking roof. And these guys now literally can't even make a sale or get a bitch. What happened? You fucked with the system that was working. And so I'm starting to see this. I'm starting to see that this health fanaticism is actually people moving away from their edge, because the edge is scary and the edge is life, by the way. Like, people don't seem to understand that the edge is actually your wellspring of health. Your edge will carry you forward even in a wounded state. You know what I mean? And so, look, it's ironic. You want to talk about paradoxes and contradictions. It's ironic that the healthier some of these motherfuckers get, the more they're actually dying. You know what I mean? And there's other guys who, when they're wounded by life, they come alive. They only can start living truly when they've been wounded, when they've had their hearts wounded, when they've had their psychology wounded. There's men that get animated and come alive. And so it's all about the edge. It's everything is about keeping that fucking edge razor sharp. Everything for a man. If you want to move past baseline, and that's like the problem. We want to talk about these great figures. You brought up Mikey. I'm talking about fucking Brian Johnson. I'm talking about Huberman. I talk about all these great figures. Here's the reality of it. I've witnessed monstrous transformations in my life. I've seen people make monumental transformations. And the purpose of a transformation is not really in the transformation itself, because every man does have a set origin point that they return to. No matter how vast or colossal your transformation is, a man is always going to go back. There's like a set point in time you're going to return to, kind of like ducks in a row. As soon as there's a disturbance, all the ducks fall into place. Man is no different. But here's the thing. The deeper the transformation, what it does, the value in it that people miss, is that it tows that origin point that you're set to forward a little bit, so that when you do return back to that origin point, you're pushed a little bit more forward than you were before. So man is always towing a sled behind him. There's always a sled. Your past is always haunting you. Your traumas are always haunting you. And I mean, dude, again, metaphors are the fucking best depictions of life. They talk about how things are weighing heavy on you. It's when you have big problems, or you're solving a challenge, or you're tackling a feat. People say it's weighing heavy on me. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. It's you towing your past behind you does have that cumbersome feeling to it. And so that's why it is the Lord's work to make these monumental transformations, because it's not about really where you land on the transformation. It's about pulling that origin point slightly forward, so that if you do regress, because everybody regresses, you just kind of land further forward than you were before. People say life is about 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I say it's the opposite. I say it's the total and complete opposite. I think the goated paradigm is actually 2 steps back, 1 step forward. And it's ironic, and it's a paradox, because if you run the math on that and you get your scratch paper and you go and you get a fucking abacus and you fucking run the numbers on what I just said, you're like, wait a minute, 2 steps back, 1 step forward. That means you're not making any progress. Wrong. Completely wrong. Because of that intangible spirit that you gain along the way, eventually makes you hopscotch fucking 10,000 steps forward. Like, you'll make a quantum leap in a moment in time that you didn't even fucking think was possible.
The progress is sporadic. You never move in the exact same line. It's more like
That's exactly
going
right.
slow and then speeding up and jumping.
That's exactly
The,
right. By the way, that's why loss is so important, and that's why learning how to endure loss is so important, because winning is not linear, and everybody knows this. And that's why when people are winning at a furious rate and they're stacking up wins, we all have this natural human desire to go on a bender of self-destruction. It's why people will go fucking party and do drugs and have hardcore weekends and shit, because we all subconsciously know that when you go on a bender, it's it helps you recuperate. It helps you recuperate. You let off steam, you kind of fall to the bottom a bit, you recharge, and then you slingshot 10 steps forward from that point again. But you need that. You need that because, like I said, you can't hold on to the feelings of winning. It's too immaterial.
emotional pain is one of the best motivators to do better. But going back to the approaches, when you just make let's say an example with weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, you had your own method, you were ripping maxes all the time,
Hmm.
despite whatever was saying, you were successful because of that. If in hypothetical situation you have this nerdy guy who comes to you and tells you, look, I'll build this fucking protocol for you. I promise you, in 6 months, you'll be able to lift much, much more than you ever could have. And you will, overcome your potential, whatnot, without any steroids and so on and so on. But you have to follow meticulously this program I wrote for you,
I can't do it. I
even though
can't.
the win will be guaranteed for you.
Yeah, I can't do it. I won't do it.
So you will choose your heart and the way how you like to do things
Every time.
over
Every time.
winning the
Every,
competition.
every time. It's my way or no way. That's how it has to be.
So
That's how it has
winning
to
is
be.
not the most important part in a
No,
way.
I disagree with you because look, winning like that, the stubborn, like pig-headed mentality is pretty goated for many reasons. And one of the reasons that it's goated is because you actually create a gravitational pull that is so fucking powerful, you become like a black hole. You suck in a lot of debris, you suck in a lot of trash. You got to deal with a lot of negativity and hate on that path, obviously, because you're going to hit a lot of resistance points. But you also suck in a lot of good shit too. And if you have a good filter and you're a strong personality, you can learn how to take in the garbage and not really have it affect you. Look, this is like the whole fucking point, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because it's leading me into these tangents that are important because it's all everything is tangential. What I'm really saying is, and I've observed this at the literally the most molecular level, is that the male mind is literally primordially suited for being able to block out noise. Everything is about blocking everything the fuck out except your own concept. Like that's literally it. Because you look at high performers, you look at everybody fakes themselves out. Everyone psychs themselves out when they get when they get really close to their goal. I think I said this on my last spaces. People fucking people will literally be knocking on the door of achieving their goal and then they go into full fucking panic mode and what changed? Nothing. It's just the voice in their head is terrorizing them. So like for me, I don't want to contaminate my work or my heart with other people's voices. That's why I wouldn't take the fucking kids protocol. Because to me, I look at it as contamination. I look at it as contamination completely. It's why I don't read anymore either, by the way. I stopped reading. Like I literally just don't read. I skim shit, but like I just really don't really give a fuck what too many people have to say about anything. I don't care at all. Yo, Lorenzo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So I would like to ask, I remember a while back, like this kind of relates to what you're talking about now, but you talked about the maximization of entropy for men. So like when a man is trying to maximize entropy, whether on purpose or like by accident, he'll go on that bender, he'll like root himself into this spiral of self-destruction, and that got me thinking, when women go through like a supposed like hoe phase or something like that, is that just the female equivalent of like maximizing entropy? Like I'm curious about that.
Well, yeah, of course, but the hoe phase for women is really just a cry for help. Because, like I said, women have like 3 or 4 cracks lifetime at locking down a warlord type figure. It doesn't matter how coquettish or demurred or fucking coy or shy or fucking virginal a woman is. Every fucking woman unanimously across the board, no matter what they say, wants to be with a warlord. And when I say warlord, I'm not talking about some motherfucker with a machete in Somalia. I'm talking about the fucking archetype, which can express itself in many different arrays. There's fucking artists that can be warlord types. It's just basically what I'm saying is it's a man who's in full control of his fucking domain. It's a powerful man. That's what a woman wants. Period. The end. And so the point is that when a woman is going through the hoe phase, she's caught in sort of this purgatory where she's basically looking, she's using these fucking other dudes as fodder. She's just fucking steamrolling these guys, waiting to get a fucking warlord. And when she does get the warlord, he's the only guy who can leave those indelible marks and scars on her. So she's only going to get her programming from a guy that she truly fucking respects. That's why body count is just it's not really a fucking thing. Because look, let me give you one of the biggest myths in fucking female lore. Everyone's talking about, oh, I want a good girl. I want a girl with a fucking good personality. There is no such thing as a ready-made woman. That's not real. You are not gonna, because the when you meet a woman, she's gonna become more like you the more time you spend together. So women are molded. Women are created. Women are sculpted. No matter who a woman is when she meets you, you don't even have to. She could be. You don't. She does not have to have remotely the same interests as you. None of that shit's relevant. If you are the guy, she's gonna go right into that tractor beam and she's gonna develop the characteristics that you want. That's the function and utility of a woman, is they will mold themselves to be like their man. So thinking that you're gonna get some ready-made woman who's already fucking perfect, let me tell you something. That's a bigger red flag than you can possibly understand. If you find a chick that's like already based, and I hate that fucking word, I think it's gay as fuck, but I don't have a better word for it right now. If you meet a chick that's super fucking based and red pilled, where the fuck do you think she got that from? That was programmed into her by another man. So now you're working on another man's project. So it ain't a good sign when you find these super fucking conservative based chicks. That's not a good sign at all. You know what I mean? You want a more vanilla template to work with. So
Right,
yes.
right.
So yes, bro. That's what I'm saying is like the only types of guys who truly leave a lasting mark on women are the fucking warlord type motherfuckers. Everyone else is a fucking footnote in history. They're forgotten. They're not programming the women.
Could you extrapolate on that like warlord archetype if that's all right?
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's a man who like when he moves through the world, like the world opens up for him. You know what I mean? Like it's like a guy who it's so simple. It's like it's a guy who walks into a store or a restaurant and people want to help him. Like the most basic things, like people just react to this guy's presence. They want to help him out. You could walk into a restaurant and you see everyone is dreary. Everyone's dreary. Everyone's tired. You look at the staff, they're bored. They're just going through the mechanics of it. But then one guy, why did, like, this always happens. There's one guy that'll walk into a restaurant and now everyone's like, I just want to help this guy. Maybe he's a regular. Now, like, the server runs into you, you're a regular, he's happy to see you. Now you just fucking gave that motherfucker a second wind. He's got a second wind. He's like excited to go fucking get your order and fucking make the modifications, and now he's fucking zipping around and shit. Like, it's people who fucking feed other motherfuckers energy. That's the guy. That's the guy who, when he walks around, everybody's feeding off this motherfucker's well of energy. That's who you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's just so many
Yeah.
guys who are there's so many guys who are just invisible, bro. They're invisible. They walk into a fucking store, they walk into a restaurant, and if they came back 6 months later, no one remembers their name. No one knows who the fuck they are. Some motherfuckers go to a place one time, can come back 2 years later, and everyone fucking remembers who this motherfucker was.
Right, right, right. Would you say that
Inexplicable. But that has more influence and impact on a woman than anything else. Because women observe all this shit. Women really, in its fundamental form, women really look how other people treat a man. And that's how she like she gets most of her feedback from that. Like she
yeah.
looks at how other people respond to you, and that's what gives you the status and the social proof. It's all about that. It's all about that. And then look, I'll go a step further. The best game works really well on mids, by the way. But it doesn't work well on hot women because it goes back to that tweet that I had the other day where I said it's the deranged, it's the profane, it's the flaw that seals the deal. That's exceptionally true with hot women. You, as a man, the the part of you that's gonna get a beautiful woman is the flaw. It's not the immaculate presentation. It's the fuck up.
And also, like, I feel like boomer parenting, like you were saying earlier, because basically what boomer parenting was, it was like a castration of a lot of those flaws and like inherent. I don't want to use the word vitality, but it's almost. I feel like boomer parenting really psyoped a bunch of like guys into denying their flaws and trying to have this sort of like idealization of themselves and the woman that they're pursuing, like
Dude, you
in
nailed it.
contrast to what you're saying.
Dude, you nailed it. Boomer parents were freaked the fuck out when they would see a flaw in their child. They would like want to fucking put you in therapy. Oh, we gotta fucking correct this. They're just trying to overcorrect everything. They're trying to fucking correct everything about you. That's literally what it was. That's a fact. You're 100% dead on. But to go back to my other point, um, like when I first met a woman, I would immediately, within 5 or 10 seconds, start just racist as fuck and dropping the word faggot constantly. Not not to be fucking flamboyant, but just to weed out all the bullshit up front. You know what I mean? And I've never had a negative response from that in my entire life.
Right, because like you're what you're doing is exactly what you're saying. You're making that impression, and that warlord archetype you're speaking of would he's going to impress his will upon those values that she already has. So like if she comes dead set with those values either got impressed into her or it's a sign of like some sort of pain. And that's another thing that like the boomers couldn't conceptualize is that when she accepted all those values in the first place, like if a boomer parent's raising you perfectly and there's like some sort of pain in that dichotomy, that's the wrong word, but if there's like pain there, she's going to be impressed with those values, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, I just look at these guys who go on these, like, you can see it. You'll be out and you can literally tell a couple's on like a Tinder date, and the dude is always just sitting there with his hands folded on the table. He looks like so well put together. Looks like he fucking took 2 hours to get himself ready. And I'm just like, fuck, man, this guy completely doesn't fucking get it. Like, it's not about what you're wearing. It's not about any of that shit. It's not about your posture. None of that shit matters. These guys are fucking sitting up like a meerkat, spine is straight, trying to look like a fucking tough guy. Dude, I'm in the booth across from them, laying down, basically leaning against the booth like it's my fucking living room. Like, who do you think's gonna have a more successful time with a woman? The guy doing that shit or the guy who literally thinks he's doing a fucking audition?
Absolutely.
You
And
know what
like
I mean? You got to just get this shit out right away with women because the problem is that who you are when you meet a woman, you cannot pivot halfway. It's never going to work for you. And that's the problem is these guys will come out with the greatest mask presentation you've ever seen. And then 6 months down the road, they pivot and show who they really are and it's game over. You might as well just come out the gate be who the fuck you are from the jump, and it's the flaw or the quirk or the fuck up that's gonna land the chick anyway. It's like it's gonna create a spark in her. Not
So
all
would
the time, not all the time, but it's your highest percentage chance of getting the woman that you want does actually stem from that fuck up, from that thing that you did totally incorrectly that wasn't by the book.
absolutely.
It's
So like
ironic as fuck.
yeah, like just to like last thing I'll say is like, would you say that the women who come preset with those conservative and like base values, when they are searching for a man, they'll end up choosing like it's almost an oxymoron. They'll end up choosing like a weaker man, like a non-warlord archetype because the values have already been impressed upon them.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. Exactly. So it just creates that inversion. 100%. It's the same thing with women with a lot of money. They'll fucking rescue a loser like fucking Kevin Federline, Britney Spears. You got fucking J Lo banging younger dudes. A couple of Paris Hilton, like these billionaire heiresses. They have this fucking complex where they love to rescue a fucking loser from the gutter. They love it. Michael, you're up.
Oh, my mic was off. Brute, this is a fire space. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. You answered my question that I had requested to join with a little bit with that previous response.
Mm-hmm.
But just for some more color, would appreciate some examples of those flaws. What are those flaws, those imperfections? What are some examples? What did you see in your life?
Bro, it could be something so simple as you're fucking you're at the gym and you're wearing a fucking wife beater and you're fucking doing power cleans and you get the fucking knurling dirt. You get the dirt from the fucking knurling on the iron on your fucking wife beater and you got like a black stain. But you got a date in 30 minutes. And what most men do is they see that and they know they got a date and they rush home and have to fucking they'll fucking put some fucking cleaner in it and fucking try to wipe it out or iron their shirt or change their shirt. Bro, if that happens to me organically, naturally, before a fucking moment in time like that, I'm just gonna fucking blaze out like a bat out of hell and go to the date with the fucking stain on the shirt. I don't give a fuck. That shit's never affected me. It doesn't affect anybody. Like this is, dude, it's fuck. I've always said this as a man, your literally main job, your 24-hour job as a man, and this is unanimous, is to always be ready. Men don't get ready. Men don't fucking get ready. You don't have to look in the mirror. You don't have to fucking worry about any of that bullshit. Women have to get ready. Women get ready, and the more time a woman puts into getting ready for you on a date, the better it's gonna go. And guess what? The least amount of time that you put in to get ready on a date as a man, the better it's gonna go. Everything's the fucking exact opposite. So if you want to create that polarity, which I'm giving you a great example, imagine a woman showing up to a date and she's fucking dressed to the nines and she's all glamorized and beautiful, and you're just in fucking sweatpants and a dirty wife beater. It's just polarity. Like there's no other magic in it than it's the exact opposite of what she's doing. So of course it's gonna create fucking some mystique of chemistry. Like that's my whole point. And that's a crude example. I'm not saying to intentionally do shit like this, but I'm saying if that shit happens or I got a fucking stain or whatever, I'm not worrying about it.
It's like you say, like metaphors are the best examples or the best way to get these concepts across. That's a perfect literal metaphor. You're
So
wearing a dirty wife beater. You didn't prepare. She's dressed to the nines. Polarity. And that's what I think a lot of people lose is we lose this polarity. And so much of what I'm hearing in your space and in your messages, get back to who you are. Quit doing other shit for other people. Connect with your core nature, which puts you in touch with that masculine polarity, which dudes have lost.
yeah, you got to be shameless with it. And like, if a woman tries to tease you or make a commentary about you showing up to date at that, then you come back and fucking tease her back. Like, it's just so simple. Like, there's never gonna be a situation where you walk into a situation like that and you get nuked. Like, it's just a winning formula every fucking time. I've literally seen it happen so many times that I just know it's true.
Just be more yourself. Be less afraid of judgment.
Yeah, dude.
That's
As
what
a
I'm hearing.
man, as a man, that's what it's like. The whole ethos of it is like it's hard to articulate, but it really is about who you are when you're in that repose, when you're in that resting state. It's not about the jacket. It's not about your haircut. It's not about any of that. It's about who you are when you look into her eyes. Like a woman will just know. She just fucking know. It's kind of like in the wild. I heard some interesting shit a while ago about how tigers, like big cat predators when they're in the wild, they'll actually sometimes gaze at their prey in the jungle, and the gaze alone, like a fucking small monkey or some shit. Let's say a fucking leopard is hunting a monkey will lock eyes with the fucking leopard, and they will actually stare in the eyes for a brief second, and they will physiologically start to shut down. The whole system literally starts to erode and collapse. And it's almost like they get into this submissive surrender posture where they just know it's over. They know they're about to be pounced on. It's a very similar, the oxytocin exchange between men and women is similar. When a woman looks in a man's eyes, she can literally see your entire story. She knows exactly what you're thinking. She knows what you've been through. She knows that resting state. So no amount of fucking bullshit or decoration that you put on top of that is going to hide that.
It it's like what I'm hearing there is when you're truly in touch with your nature, if you're doing this right and you are that big cat, you are shutting down or down regulating the nervous system of whoever you're engaging with. You're making them more calm because you know your role.
Dude, of course. That's literally how sales works. That's how the whole world is literally. That's like the inner machinations of the entire fucking world, and nobody seems to understand that's exactly what's happening. It's like
This
e-
this journey
everything.
is so fucking fun, dude. It's just it's the most fucking fun adventure on the planet just to get more in touch with that nature day by day. It's like it's the only thing that matters. It's what is so exciting.
Dude, it is. And honestly, like the one thing that I've wished for every man that listens to me is I really do hope one day they can actually be face to face with a woman they love and legitimately just feel comfortable in their own fucking skin. Like that is, it's insane that in 2024 it even needs to be said, but I think that is a very lost thing. I don't think many people really experience that anymore. I think people are squirming in their own fucking skin at all times because they don't know who they are. But when you really know who you are and you live by it, it changes everything for you.
That's the only way that you can ever love somebody is you've got to love who you are, which brings us back to you've got to get in touch with yourself. So how do you, Brute, what is love to you? Like let's just say romantic love. How do you know, so to speak?
It's a good question, man. It's just about having that urge, I think, to just provide and care for, man.
You know, not from a place of savior complex, but just from an offering of my strength.
100%. I mean, I think the savior complex is relatively goaded to a degree in the modern market because, I mean, look, I look at any woman who's working like a shitty job. I look at that as like a marketing campaign. She's just basically she's sticking herself in a high foot traffic environment where people are walking in and just like who's gonna fucking rip me out of here. Like, bro, that's what men need to be doing for real. Like successful men need to be going and fucking plucking these chicks out of the fucking workforce.
Yeah, dude.
That would make the
Yeah,
world a fucking much better place pretty fucking
I'm
quickly.
with you. It would. That's all the questions I got for you, dude. You answered. It's good to hang out with you, man. I appreciate it. Let me let somebody else hop up here.
Yep. Yo, Diogenes.
Hey, Brute.
What's up, brother?
Hey, man, when you were talking about molding a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's a two-part question, but what if you're trying to do that and it's not working? Like, but you don't know why or you don't know how. Because what I run into is, and I think other people do too, is they don't know they don't know why it's not working, even though they know, like, they know what you're saying is true, but they don't know why. Like, they're like just totally confused, like, how to do it and why it's not working.
Yeah, don't find out. that's my that's my fucking answer to that. Do not find out. Because remember, it's like I was saying, the search for the reasons why these things work is what actually fucking rips it away from you.
You mean like if it's not working, it should be like seamless? Like if it's not working, you need to move on or what?
With women?
Yeah, like if you're with a
Yeah,
woman,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, relationships or work is absolute fucking bullshit. Relationships are not work. Like relationships should be extremely fucking seamless and easy.
So if you're with a woman and it's not working to mold her, you don't sit there in a room and try to figure out why. You move on.
No, I mean, look, there's always a root. There's always a root cause for misbehavior in women, and it's always a misgiving on the man's part. I'll give you kind of an example. Women never complain. If a woman starts complaining about nonsense, like telling you to not leave the doors open, like women will badger their men about nonsense. She's never complaining about the thing that she's complaining about. She's complaining about something bigger that's not being addressed. Women do not know how to complain about the root of the problem because that's a man's job to figure out what that is because she doesn't even know what that is. So it's always a symptom. People always take it at face value when a woman is bitching about something she doesn't like. It's never, ever about the thing she's complaining about. I promise you. There's some bigger picture where you're not leading, there's a failure in leadership, that if you filled that void, all of the complaining and all the bitching and all the badgering would stop instantly. So guys will literally solve the thing that the woman's complaining about, but then the complaining continues to intensify and it ramps up. And then they're confused. They're like, in their head, they're like, wait a minute, I'm doing everything she said she wanted. Why is this getting worse? It's because he fell for the trap. He doesn't understand that when a woman is bored or a woman is not truly being fulfilled in the way that she wants to, she's going to start nitpicking and inventing reasons for why things are fucked up. And she'll literally start fucking seeking those out like a hound. And she'll find absolute nonsense to complain about that has nothing to do with the real problem. And that's the beauty of women, by the way, is they just give you clues. They never, because they don't have the capacity to tell you how to fix it because you're the man. So they just give you the clues, and it's your job as the man to go fucking Sherlock Holmes the shit and figure out what the root of the problem is. That's a huge one, by the way. This one goes over most guys' heads. It's literally never. You'll never find a scenario where a woman is genuinely complaining about the thing that's bothering her. She's just giving you a clue. You know, she tells you that she doesn't like this thing that you did that's small. She's giving you a fucking clue for something else that you did that gave her the ick, and she can't shake it until you fix that one thing. And so that's where women just keep men super fucking sharp if you have that awareness.